Now, back to the only show educating you with the face-to-face system and opposites attract connection. Here's your host, Daaiyah Cixx.
Welcome to another Facebook Healthy Relationship Talk Radio live broadcast. For those of you who do not know me, I am your relationship specialist and host of Healthy Relationship Talk Radio. You guys remember, if you're not, get over there to HRT, Healthy Relationship Talk Radio group page, because we talk about he say, she say, love, relationships, why it matters, why it doesn't. And remember, this is the platform where we are here to help you and empower you. And also remember, this is also the platform that recognizes and appreciate and glorify women with natural hair and natural beauty globally. Anyways, we got your back. All right. But guess what? Right now, we're getting ready to bring on our special guest, Meiyoko Taylor. He is an internationally recognized best-selling author. Oh, we're getting ready to pick his brain, you guys. He's getting ready to come on. All right. We're going to talk about his book, Find Your Amazing. Oh, my goodness. It's about to get good. You guys don't want to miss this. Don't want to miss this.
Okay. So I want to ask you this. Can you give away maybe one step in your book?
Yeah, sure. One of the steps in my book is to develop a winning habitude, and it's exactly how it sounds. It's the word habit in there, and attitude. So I call it habitude. So most people don't realize that we develop habits whether we
Right.
want them or not. So if we're going to develop habits, even unconsciously, then it's a good idea to start to form good habits. So this comes back to when we were talking about self-awareness. So you want to figure out, what type of habits do I have right now that are preventing me from being successful? What type of positive habits versus what type of negative habits? And if so, if there's things that are there that I'm not going to like,
Right.
which probably are, how do I go about changing them? So that particular chapter in the book talks about the three things that actually make up a habit. There's triggers, there's behaviors, and there's rewards. So when you have a habit, there's always a trigger. There's always something that puts that habit into motion. Like, let me use, for example, basketball player after a big victory. Usually what they do is they pop open the champagne, right? So the trigger may be the actual winning the big championship. So they go pop open the champagne. So the behavior is actually the drinking and the celebrating and the partying and the driving fast down the street. That's the behavior. So the reward is the feeling and the euphoria that gives that particular individual. So when
Okay.
you're looking at your habits, you want to look at the trigger, one, you want to look at the behavior, and then you want to look at the reward, because there's always some form of pleasure at the end that reinforces that particular habit. The only downside to when it's a negative habit is that that's temporary. So you're just putting yourself into a spiral of particular things. That's why a lot of people, when they fall into depression or falling into struggles and periods of life, there's something that triggers that behavior, and it could be that situation that has them depressed or that has them in that state of discouragement. So every time they
Yeah.
may think about that, or every time that situation may happen, that's a trigger. So that puts them right back into that behavior that is going to alleviate that pain or relieve
Yeah.
that pain. Because the reward is, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to re-experience it. And
Oh
that's
my
the vicious
goodness. You
cycle of
know what?
habits. I mean, it really
People
is.
don't really think about it like that. And people, you know, you have individuals that always want their rewards, right? And have you ever been in a position or a situation where you did not reap your rewards and wanted to give up? And I'm pretty sure you did. How did you handle that? Because a lot of people, they'll get out here, they'll start businesses, they'll do all these things, but then the reward isn't coming quick enough. It isn't coming fast enough. How did you stay sane and focused? How did you keep your mental agility?
You're putting me into a another aspect we're going to talk about here, because now you really want to ask the question. This is a good topic.
Okay.
What you really want to ask is, what does success mean to
Uh-huh.
you? I mean, when I first started out 15 years ago as an entrepreneur, I was looking at success from the standpoint of the Richard Bransons and all these other people, the things that they had versus what I
Right.
didn't. And I always tell people, if you are setting yourself up to want to be like these particular
Mhm.
people and you don't accomplish the same
Right.
goals, you are setting yourself up for
Failure.
failure and
Mhm.
disappointment. You are not Richard Branson. You're not
Mhm.
any of those
Right.
people. So what I always tell people is, you can model success after some of the things that they have done,
Mhm.
but don't focus too much on their
Oh.
story and how they've gotten there, because it's different. Your story is going to be different. You are
Mhm.
not these people, but the blessing is they have gifts and knowledge that you can apply to your personal situation. So when I first started out as an entrepreneur, I was trying to be like everybody else. So there was a lot of rewards that I was looking for that I never achieved, but it wasn't until I found who I really was, who I
Yeah.
was, to
Mm.
where I was like, oh, this is what success means to
Mhm.
Meiyoko.
Mhm.
This is
Yes.
what is important to me. So now I can say, when I don't accomplish something or the reward is not there, I can just say, oh, not yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just let me continue to add value to other people and do what I'm supposed to be doing. Because eventually, sometimes your reward comes and it's just like, oh, wow, that did happen,
Mhm.
huh? You're just so busy adding value to other people and making an impact, sometimes the blessing or the reward is already there. You didn't even realize it. You were just so caught up in adding value to your own life in so many other ways. So it's important to know what success means to you. My version of success is not going to be everybody
Right.
else's list. All the listeners out there, your version of success may be
Right.
different
Yeah.
than mine. Their version of success may be different from yours. And that's what you have to realize. But you can never, ever, ever, ever base success on material possessions.
Oh my God. Talk about it, Meiyoko.
Never do
Yes.
that.
Mhm.
And that's what is, like I said, when we were talking, that's what's portrayed in the media. Success is, oh, the Bentleys, the nice
Oh.
cars, the Rolls Royces, the Lambos, and all those other things, the big
Yeah.
houses. You can only do but so many things in a house. Um, I'm not I'm not saying I don't advocate having a nice home. If that's Look, if that's what you're blessed with and you have a nice home, fine.
Yes.
But that is not, at the end of the day, that is not the most important thing. I have met millionaires. I have met so many people that have all the money that you can possibly
Mhm.
want. And one of the biggest things they say to me is, I will give that up in a heartbeat if I had someone to share it with, if I had someone that I loved
Mhm.
unconditionally, if I had this particular family member.
Mhm.
Those are the things that really mean the most to a human
Right.
being. But all this perception of what success is blinds us from the things that are truly important. And this is no hearsay. This is what I've seen with my own eyes. And some of these people are very, very successful from a material standpoint and from a business standpoint. But they envy, and think about it
Mm.
this way: a lot of these people that we look up to and we try to idolize, so
Mhm.
to speak, a lot of them are envious of us.
Yes. Yes. You're
A
absolutely
lot of
right.
them are envious
Yep.
of us, because if you have a family that loves you and unconditionally, and you're happy, and you're leading a fulfilling life your own way in your own version, they envy
Yeah.
that. So that's something to think about.
Yes, it is. Exactly. Yeah. And it's so funny because poorest parts of the country in this world, and they're poor maybe financially, but they're so wealthy in love and integrity and honesty. And and I go, why is it so backwards like that? How can we get a clue? Because remember what was going on the break, we were talking about how everyone is so adapted to this instant, everything is so instant and artificial, right. I want it right now, it has to
I want
happen
it
now,
right
or
now.
it's not right, or and it's like we have to get out of we have to get out of our own way of thinking like that, because it's really like it's a spiritual destruction. It's a spiritual destruction that's happening right now, and we have to really change our minds when it comes to that.
And we're getting something really deep, and I'm going to go raw here. Society
Go wrong.
society has been set up in a way to where we are hating ourselves. We
Yes.
are focusing more on material possessions as opposed to our families, the way we communicate. If you look at social media, there's people on there that do things just to get what they call likes, or to get somebody to follow them. So it's to a mind that abuses social media, that's not properly developed. It creates an opportunity for them to seek approval from people that they do not know whatsoever. So they're seeking from approval from everybody else, everything else, except the most important person to seek approval for, and that's themselves.
Everyone
And
else matters but themselves.
but themselves. And I'm so adamant about that. And I always talk about it. And that's one of the biggest reasons why people don't know what they want, is because they are not satisfied with themselves. They don't know what they want.
Great. Well, Meiyoko, we only have 2 minutes, so I'm going to ask you one question. And then we have to answer this really quick and really fast. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, if you are at a job that you hate and you found out that you just won $10 million in the lottery, okay? Do you A, call in, give your 2 weeks notice, B, never show up ever again, C, go into work when you want, or D, go in, make a mistake on purpose, quit, and tell them to kick your asses?
Me personally, I would quit.
What?
I would quit. I would quit. I would go in. I would give a letter of resignation. I would quit. I wouldn't give 2 weeks. I would quit. I would invest probably 75% of that money into real estate and some other assets, and then I would start to really think about what it was that I really wanted to do from a professional standpoint, and what vacation right now would I want to take with myself and those that I love and mean the most to me. That's what I would do.
I've had a great show. Meiyoko, my question to you is, out of all the information that we gave each other, do you approve this message?
I sure do. And people can actually find my book, Finding Your Amazing 5 Steps to Transforming Your Life. It is available on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles.
All right. Well, I approve this message. We approve this message. You are listening to Meiyoko Taylor and Daaiyah Cixx on Healthy Relationship Talk Radio. I wish all my geniuses love, peace, and great ideas. Peace and blessings to you all, Meiyoko. Thank you for being my wonderful guest.
And you're no problem. Continue to be great, everybody.